Demolition, and there's that right hand. They're duking it out, not by the right hand. Takayama.
Green trunks for the southpaw, the notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr. Conor relaxed, smiling. Oh!
Nate Diaz, you just shook up the world. How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised.
What is going on, everyone? Thanks for joining me in another episode of Chingasos Combat Crew. It is December. It is UFC 310 fight week. It's your boy's birthday right here. And I got a nice, short, and sweet, jam-packed episode of combat goodness. Hope your week is kicking off to a wonderful start. Hope everyone had a fantastic Thanksgiving out there. Let's get cracking on this show here. Let's kick it off with Joe Rogan back in the day, roasting some
the leg locks and start rolling around on the
ESPN. Let's check it out. This is always a good one, man.
and start rolling around on the ground in submission holes.
Joe, you can't care to respond to that first, Joe.
How is that human cockfighting? You know what that is? That's actual fighting. You know what boxing is? What boxing is a very limited form of fighting. It's kind of a silly agreement. Say, like, we hate each other, we're going to fight, we're going to duke it out man to man, but we're only going to use our hands. That's it. What ultimate fighting is, it's the actual sport of fighting. It encompasses all aspects of fighting: ground game, kicking, punching, elbows, submissions, all the above. That's why it's much more exciting. That's why it's a much more dynamic sport. What boxing is one aspect of mixed martial arts. The most important thing is that it's the sport of fighting. And what boxing is sport of punching. That's all it is. And there's so many aspects of boxing that are really ineffective, that don't really work in a real fight. All the bobbing and weaving and shoulder rolling, all the beautiful moves that Pernell Whitaker and James Toney and some of those. Well, I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing.
No, you're not a boxing fan.
There's some great. Yes. How do you say I'm not a boxing fan?
Because you don't get it. It's the science. It's defense is as important as offense. Guys like you,
I totally understand.
Or Pernell Whitaker or Floyd Mayweather.
First of all, you're wrong. I just said Pernell Whitaker. All the beautiful moves that Pernell Whitaker. You don't know me, and you don't know what I'm a fan of. I am a fan of boxing. It's a beautiful sport, but it's a sport that encompasses one aspect of fighting. What ultimate fighting is a sport of fighting. What you guys don't understand, you guys are a dying breed. You boxing guys, oh, it's humans cockfighting. What you don't understand is your sport is getting swallowed. It's getting swallowed by a greater, more efficient, more.
Thanks to the Saudis, it's making a comeback. So boxing, yeah, it's always been a little limited, but they've always put on great fights. It's just within the last 20 or so years, they've turned boxing into a mockery. It's just about making money, and they're leaving the fans behind, and we're sick and tired of it, right, guys? We're sick and tired of it, but the Saudis, they got our back. They got that Riyadh season. They're making the fights that we want to see and moving the promoters to the side. So now we got boxing and MMA. So what? Let's keep it going. Keep the show going. All right. A gentleman who has been on the shelf for quite a while now is looking to make a comeback. Talking about none other than the man, Rafael Fiziev. Remember, he last fought, I believe, Matthias Gamrot, and I think he blew his knee out or something like that. Maybe messed up his ankle. I think it was his knee. Further notice, I think Fonzo broke that down for us. But Fiziev says he has accepted an offer to fight on UFC Saudi Arabia February 1st, and is looking to hear back from them on an opponent. At the moment, Rafael is ranked number 11 in the lightweight division, and right above him is Renato and Benio. So Renato's rumored to have a fight coming up with Patty, but it has not been announced for a London card that's supposed to be happening late Q1. So we'll see about that. But Rafael has not been sitting around waiting for things to happen. He's making things happen. And none other than his last opponent, Matthias Gamrot, tweeted out, "I like your attitude. 5 rounds sounds great with you." So according to this tweet, both of these gentlemen may have already had a gentleman's agreement to go 5 rounds against each other in some UFC Fight Night event coming up the way pretty soon. So if you guys remember, Matthias kind of laid an egg in his last fight against Dan Hooker, going 3 rounds and pretty much got the dog shit beat out of him because he couldn't take our boy Dan Hooker down. And Fiziev is on a 2-fight skid himself, losing by unanimous decision to Justin Gaethje back in March of 2023. And then he had the knee injury against Matthias back in September of last year. So looking to get back, both of these guys looking to get back on the win column, and we'll soon find out which one of these guys it's going to be. But nonetheless, should be an excellent fight. But if Gamrot can't get the fight down to the mat, this is going to be Dan Hooker fight night results all over for him. Maybe even worse because Fiziev's got that KO power, bro. All right, someone who's on the shelf and we were expecting to see in January in LA on the West Coast is Umar Nurmagomedov. And according to him, he tweeted out this last week that he had a small fracture in his arm that kept him out of the January fight. But he says he's fine and he'll be ready to go against anyone, anywhere after that. So at the moment, it looks like UFC's plans might end up working out late February, maybe March. I'm not sure if that March is going to be something that they're going to do because you guys know Umar's Muslim and they celebrate Ramadan during March, and that's a big no, not a big no, but it makes training a little harder for them. So we'll have to wait and see. I know there was a rumor circling that Rob's going to face Sean again in a rematch, but with that performance last week by Piotr Jan, man, who knows? He might just cut the line, and with Umar's injury here, it might be perfect timing. It might be a rematch, Merab versus Piotr Jan all over again. Which I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not mad. All right. Guess who's back at it again, guys? Yup, our boy Jamhal Hill. You know, he's supposed to be fighting our boy Yuri coming up in next month already in January. But before he gets to that, he's got some words to say. Right here, sounds like he's going off on Magomed Ankalaev and sounds like he's a little salty because Magomed is going to get the next title shot.
We got guys like Mr. Ankle Grabber, Ankle Lie, whatever his name is. You know, y'all know the weird guy that kind of look like what's his name? Abraham Lincoln.
Does look like
yeah,
Lincoln, though.
Mr. Honest Abe over here. Just can't stop talking about me, man. He laid out his plans, which was cool. You know, you got a title shot coming up. You earned it in one of the fucking worst fights of the year. And that's good on you. Went with that. You gotta call somebody, you gotta get to talk about calling somebody a cheat. Bum is insane, bro. For the simple fact of one, to you, I'm a bum in no realm on facet of anything. We have common opponents, so we can measure the value of each one of our game and each one of our fighting styles. Remember, Santos, they dropped you, you went to a decision, hugging him, and all of those things. Yeah, I finished that guy. Remember how you got a title shot and given whenever the belt was vacant and you fumbled it because you couldn't stop leg kicks?
Was a pretty
or you decided to be a crotch
there's
sniffer
Jamhal going off on Magomed Ankalaev on the screen right now. I got more or less their more recent fights. Magomed coming off of back-to-back wins, most recently at UFC 308, where he scored a unanimous decision victory over Alexander Rakic. And then before that, he had a rematch against Johnny Walker. If you guys remember back in 2023 of October, he landed an illegal knee to Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker was ready to go though, but the ref had already stopped the fight by then. So they ran it back early January 2024, and Magomed went to work on Johnny Walker, finishing him by KO in round 2. And then again, like I said, he had that unanimous decision win against Rakic. Now, what Jamal's talking about is that fat egg that he laid against Jan Blachowicz for the lightweight strap back in December of 2022, and it ended up being a 5-round snoozer. It was a split draw as they couldn't find a winner. And the common opponent that Jamal's talking about is Thiago Santos. I'm not sure if you guys picked that up, but Magomed went 5 rounds with him, won by decision back in 2022, whereas Jamal murked him in the 4th round. Took him a little while, but he did get him and took him out in the 4th round and finished him by TKO. So yeah, he's probably a little mad that he's not getting a title shot, that he's got to go through Yuri. And it's probably just a matter of timing. Jamal coming off of an injury, Jamal getting KO'd by Alex. There's got to be some time make people forget about that, and then give Alex some other opponents so that way he can continue to look like a badass, which he's probably going to end up doing here. Because as much as we talk about Alex's takedown defense or lack of takedown defense, he hasn't really fought anybody that's going to be shooting a takedown on him, and that's not Magomed's game. So this might end up being another Alex Pereira custom TKO highlight reel. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. I don't know when that fight is going to go down, but it should be coming up pretty soon, 2024. 2025, I'm sorry. Is that where we're going? Oh, Jesus. All right. Speaking of the champ, Poatan, because not only was Jamhal Hill going after Magomed Ankalaev, also talking a little crap about Yuri. And Alex had something about that. Calm down, my son. Pass this test, and dad will give you a second chance. Damn, that is some cold-blooded shit. But hey, until Jamhal proves him wrong, he's his daddy. All right, speaking of daddy and speaking of running, well, actually not running away, but someone who might be running away from a fight or potentially setting up a gigantic payday, because I know this dude is not scared. I'm talking about none other than John Jones. So John Jones easily dispatched Stipe Miocic a couple weeks ago, and since then he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to retire. I am going to go back. I am in negotiation with the UFC, but we don't know who that opponent is. So the pressure has just been mounting on John. And at the moment, everyone's jumping on this bandwagon. None other than old school Captain America, Randy Couture, had something to say. And he says, John Jones, as much as he doesn't want to fight Francis, he's going to have trouble avoiding that. Now he says he didn't want to fight Tom. I mean, why? You're supposedly the GOAT. Step up and fight. Speaking of Tom Aspinall's coach has gone on record and said that the UFC at the moment is doing everything in their power to make this fight happen. So just keep putting bags of money. I'm sure that's all it's going to take, guys. I'm sure that's all it's going to take. We're rounding the corner. We got UFC 310 going down on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. It's your boy's birthday. Wish me a good day, guys. The UFC's already blessed us with a fantastic card, and I'm going to go over all the bangers. You need to make sure that you are on the couch watching and you don't miss 1 second of these fights, because any one of these fights that I'm going to go over right now could potentially be fight of the night. And it could be a 3-round banger. It could be a 5-round banger. It could be a 1-round quitter. But we don't know until we watch the fights. So one of the guys who's on this card, and I'll talk about him later, is our man, Nate Landwehr. If you are not familiar with this man, please go get yourself a UFC Fight Pass, an ESPN Plus subscription, and go watch this man fight, because that's what he was born to do. Nate the Train Landwehr, bro, I'm all aboard. Choo choo. The man has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 performance or fight of the night bonuses in 4 out of his last 5 fights. The dude puts on a show, and now he's coming in with the chip on his shoulder because apparently his wife was pregnant and unexpectedly lost their child. So he is going to use that as extra motivation, and he's going to bring it. So we'll talk about the matchup that he's got in just a bit. Let's go over prelim early bangers that you are going to need to watch. And there's something to watch on every aspect of this show. So if you're home early, make sure you're watching this prelim banger because it's going to be fire. Prelims are also got some fire fights. And the main card is loaded from top to bottom. At first, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of upset that this particular card has been moved down to the prelims. But you know what? I'm not mad anymore. I am not mad. Let's look at this early prelim banger that I am begging you guys to go out and watch. Joshua Van, number 14 in the flyweight division, Cody Durden. I mean, I don't want to bring this dude down. I was kind of upset that he pulled off the UFC Noche against our boy Edgar Chairez, but Joshua Van signed up to fight late notice and was throwing bombs. This dude is exciting to watch. And Cody Durden too, man. Cody Durden's got a chin. He throws hammers, throws caution to the wind. Joshua Van is an early favorite here at a minus 162. I'm telling you, this is going to be fireworks. Both of these guys are just going to do like Max Holloway, point to the circle of the cage and start throwing in down. I mean, they're not going to be just slanging and banging, which they might be, but there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of well, this is going to be a dangerous fight for both guys. I cannot wait. Make sure you're watching this. All right. Moving on to the prelim portion of the card. And either one of these could have been the main card if the UFC really wanted to. Starting with Randy Brown. You have not watched Mr. Battle's last two fights. The dude cannot be killed. He is unstoppable. He is a rebel force that comes to fight. He is a gladiator, guys. He will take a whooping and keep on ticking. He's almost like a Nate Landwehr, but a little bit bigger. And Randy Rude Boy Brown is no joke. He might not be ranked, but he always comes to fight, and he is prepared to. He's got the tools to handle anyone at this moment. Brian Battle is a big favorite at minus 192, and I'm totally understandable with that. I would probably pick Brian myself. But no matter what, we're going to win because that is going to be a scrap and a half. And this next matchup, for all my wrestling junkies, all my jujiteros out there, this is going to be an awesome fight right here. I don't know if this is the prelim main event because they do have Anthony Smith and Dominic Reyes above this, but I don't know if that's the actual fight order. Let's talk about number 5 flyweight taking on number 9, Movsar Evloev, Aljamain Sterling. They are throwing down, and the winner of this is going to get a number 1 contender fight against our boy Ilia Topuria. Sounds like fun to me. The wrestling, the scrambles, the back control. This is going to be a good fight all around for both guys. Movsar's never been tested like this. I mean, yeah, Diego Lopes gave him a good test, but wrestling wise, preparing wise, camp wise, this is definitely going to be his big test. And Aljo, man, this is going to leapfrog you right into contender status if you can pull out a dominant victory. Can you imagine if Aljo gets a sub here, or if Movsar gets a sub? That's automatic title shot for me. Now, I don't know if either of these guys have what it takes to take down the Ilia train, but we don't know until they do, right, guys? All right. Main card bangers that you're gonna want to watch. All right, let's just get this one over with. You may not be so hype about it. Bryce Mitchell, Kron Gracie, that might be more fun if we're watching a UFC Fight Pass Invitational, just a jiu-jitsu match, because that's probably what this is going to be, because both of these guys, Bryce Mitchell and Kron, are not known for their stand-up, but all fights start on the feet, and hopefully not for long, because once these guys get to the ground, it should be nothing but fun. My only thing here is that Bryce Mitchell seems to have used his UFC experience time to sharpen his tools. I feel like Bryce has more, even though his stand-up is not as well-rounded as it should be, it's light years ahead of what Kron does, whereas Kron just uses his jiu-jitsu and one punches, or still tries to use that Gracie front kick to set up a sorry takedown. Kron, I'm a big fan, my man, but I just don't see you pulling this off unless you've honed your game, added all kinds of different weapons. I know you're capable of doing it. It's just time to show it, bro. And the fight that I was talking about earlier, a featherweight bout. Both of these guys are not ranked, but don't let that fool you. Talk about Nate the Train Landwehr taking on Doo-Ho Choi, the Korean Superboy. This is going to be a banger of a fight because both of these guys come out slanging and banging. Doo-Ho Choi comes out a little fast, though. And that could be trouble for Nate, or could that be trouble for Doo-Ho Choi? Because Nate's whole game is Homer Simpson boxing style. You know what I mean? He's going to come out. He's going to land a shot every now and then, but he is going to make his opponent expend his gas tank, throw everything he's got at him. And at the end, Nate's still going to be there. And Superboy's going to be like, what is happening right now? And he's going to go out in a blaze of glory. Mark my words, I think that's what's going to happen. Plus, the train is a little PO'd and it's got to take some steam off. So, I'm laying Nate the Train -148 favorite to pull this one out. Let's keep this one moving. These last 3 fights are going to be so good. I can't believe we're getting Cyril Gane and Alex Volkov so early in the card, because this could definitely be a 5-round banger, but I don't know if they're really going to need it. I'm talking about number 2 taking on number 3, Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. I know who Fonzo's going for. Fonzo has been high on Volkov, who has been on a tear recently, and he could totally disrupt Tom Aspinall, John Jones talk by putting on a hell of a performance. What if Volkov finishes Gane faster than John Jones? Does that mean Volkov could be a third member of, or the third wheel in the Tom Aspinall, John Jones party? I don't know, but it's going to be fun, and I cannot wait to see that fight. But again, whoever wins that, regardless of how they win, is probably going to be the number 1 contender in the heavyweight division and is going to take a back seat to John Jones and Aspinall. Oh, unless John fights Alex, then one of these guys, the winner here, is probably going to get the shot against Tommy. Now, co-main event, 5-round banger, number 3 versus number 7. Whether you like it or not, you don't think that Ian Machado Gary is good enough to be in this spot. He is. Would I have loved to see Ian Machado Gary against Joaquin Buckley? Hell yeah. But this is just not just as good. I think this is a good matchup. For as much as everyone is calling Shavkat the boogeyman, I feel like he leaves himself open to take shots. Now, I don't know if Gary's got the power to take out Shavkat, but he's definitely going to have opportunities to take advantage of Shavkat's defense. Shavkat coming in overconfident. Shavkat has been on a tear, and he's been doing whatever he wants to whoever he wants, but he has hit a couple speed bumps, and he has taken quite a bit of damage. So we'll see what happens here Saturday night. A lot of questions going to be answered, but the winner here, for sure, you guys already know, because this was supposed to be Bilal and Shavkat. So the winner here, there is no interim strap on the line, I don't think. But if there is, the winner's going to get Bilal next, which should be a good fight. But this one, I think, might even be a little bit better than Bilal and Shavkat. So what do you guys think? Who's taking this one? And then the main event, we got a UFC newcomer, Rising Zone featherweight, flyweight champ, Kai Asakura, taking on the man who has just been steamrolling everybody. No one's been able to figure this guy out. Alexander Pantoja may be the most underrated pound-for-pound fighter on the entire UFC roster, because the dude takes everyone's O's. The dude takes everyone's belts. The dude puts on a school class every time he steps into the cage. He's able to overcome and beat his opponents at his game. He takes them down. He beats the shit out of them on the feet. Yeah, he swings for the fences. Yeah, he's unorthodox. Yeah, he might not be technical, but he has the heart and will of a champion. He is always going to be there round 5. And if Kai ain't ready for this, bro, it's going to be all bad. I'm not really too familiar with all of Kai Asakura's opponents, but I do know he has had some tough fights against some opponents. But when you comparing resumes here, it's night and day. I mean, yeah, Asakura's gotten some good fights, but not at the level of Pantoja. But you never know what happens. That's why we watch the fights, guys. All right, y'all. That is a wrap. I will have results and highlights next week. This was short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic week. I'll see y'all next week. Chingasos Crew out. Peace.
Demolition, and there's that right hand. They're duking it out. Mount Barber right hand. Takayama.
Green trunks for the southpaw, the notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr. Conor relaxed, smiling. Oh!
Nate Diaz, he just shook up the world. How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised.